This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk, and this is my co-star Zanzi. And this, Evan, is just a little brief strategy. One of the things I'm pretty sure I didn't get to talk about is that I see my work as performance art, stand-up philosophy. And I've been trying to sell, and of course I just don't have any traction or distribution on LinkedIn. Hashtag NFTs, hashtag NFT arts. This whole video collection, the 500 plus, I don't even have the numbers that are on YouTube, my two YouTube channels. There's one under my name and one under hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk, which documents this journey of what I went through this summer, which is in preparation for a documentary about human potential. So I'd like to sort of put the container, like, I just can't keep asking for donations and living, in fear of never having enough money. It says more about our civilization than it does about me. It says that nobody has any time. Nobody's really able to open their mind to something new. And this is art. This is the starving artist archetype. And let's go with that. What would it take to find, and how would you, containerize, contextualize, present, executive produce? Because this right here belongs to you. You might be able to sell it. I knew her back in the day, and she was just, when she should have been in tears and fearful, she was just like, well, let me create something new. Let me keep creating. Somebody's out there with funds going. As soon as I find somebody who really knows how to talk about what's going on in the world, I'm gonna write a blank check. It's the gulf between the life I lived as a morbidly obese person, who was highly sensitive. It wasn't so much that I was fat. I mean, that was why the society sort of avoided me. But for my own self, I was really suffering. I was truly in pain from, it's an archetype, highly sensitive people, HSPs. It's physiological sensitivity. I'm emotionally sensitive. I'm the redheaded She-Hulk. I'm ready to stand on stage and shout, I love Black humans, categorically. We just got to get on the stage. And earlier this week, a couple days ago, I recorded a 15-minute audio, which is, it's audition caliber. It's like, as an NFT, it's worth about 30 grand as far as I'm concerned. It's titled USA equals United Sapiens of Africa. I come up with an actual implementable reparation strategy. So, again, just keep creating at a world evolving level. There is on my webpage, my website, if you have not been there, it's Deb Helfrich, one word, .squarespace.com. If you type in NFTs, and I think the only one that gets indexed on Google is the NFTs for sale. I've got a couple pieces of art. I'm offering to do a bespoke Socratic monologue at a topic that somebody wants, with, answering deep questions, all kinds of questions, for $5 grand. So what would it take, seriously, to get 20 professionals on LinkedIn who can invest $500? It is artisanal capital investment, so nothing about, they're investing in me as a human to keep me alive, because they see that my brain really has ways to talk about things. They can look at the trajectory of how I'm improving as a performer. This is kind of a table read. This is a creation in some ways, but it's also, stage direction. But it's also showing, in no uncertain terms, that I'm ready to go. My brain is on fire. Sit me down. Let's talk about things. Let's learn the art of Socratic dialogue. Let's watch where my mind goes. Because at any given stage, if you ask me to come back and do the logic, There are references that we can go to. And I just like to get people on Wikipedia. It's really that simple, is to examine things at a very basic nature and see the hubris in which take an element like nitrogen. And it's all from the focus of the solar system, and that's pretty useful. But I don't think we know the most crucial thing about nitrogen. It is the bulk of the air that we breathe. Oxygen and carbon. Oxygen is like 8%, and carbon's supposed to be way down in like the dot percents. Who's paying attention to our nitrogen? Is once you understand it better, once you start sitting things down, because nitrogen, of course, is the precursor to NO, nitric oxide, the Viagra molecule. Back to this pleasure principle I'm telling you about evolution. Tie it all together really well. All right, so I just, again, instead of begging for donations, I mean, this is always the conundrum I'm in. I need to get paid for my work. And it's that our society doesn't have any mechanism to see an artist doing something new, creating a new art form, and actually being of service to all of us in the process. Like, what are we getting wrong? How do we talk about these things? We're getting it all wrong. Most people in the U.S. of hypocrisy do not have a functional definition of what being human is, given they can treat people different based on their skin tone. It's not okay. It's not okay. And who's out there saying this? I mean, Dave Chappelle. And me. Other people. But, I'll do a daily podcast. I'm ready to just, I do 90 minutes like this. 75 minutes, like I've got the capacity. And it takes a container. People need to get used to me, because I'm not really like anybody else. As much as this is why it's the whole metaphor angle of she's Socrates, she's Sherlock. But it's also making a very crucial point. Why are all the people who are smart, who are men? It's a very, and it sort of is, again, it comes underneath it is my non-binariness. Because, I mean, I didn't even realize it until this last International Women's, but nobody ever fancies you. You don't have to fit into a gender. And so I lived a very masculine life. But it is the case that in no uncertain terms, it is the societal thing that as a woman, I shouldn't be having a next career. I shouldn't be acting so young if I'm not. I shouldn't be... There is... If I presented as a man, I'd already have $300,000 in my bank account. I'm ready to face these things. Let's find out, why is it this way? And why is it that even people, I mean, we're talking about, I have a very small network. Why are these people unable to see the potential in me? And nobody shares my work. Nobody supports my comments. Nope. And all white women do is tell me, watch that. Like, you can't say nobody. You can't say nobody. I'm factually reporting the receipts. I'm not, I don't believe it. I still continue to be flummoxed. Okay, that's been enough. The NFT strategy in artisanal capital, we don't know. I don't know when to pay it back and how I will pay it back. But as long as I stay alive, I'm pretty much certain this is who I am. It's what I do. It's how my brain operates. And it is valuable across every level I've so far looked at it. we're at a place where we're evolving consciousness. And the way most people are talking about it, it's all just fantasy terms. The way I talk about it is, let's get the science out. Let's look at the definition on Google. Let's look at the Wikipedia. Let's understand this. And then bring in something we know to be true that proves that this crazy thing is false. It's how validity and logic works. It's how, as a wise feminine philosopher, I don't need to do anything. And that's pretty much why, again, I'm going to become successful. So I'm wanting to host the conversations with the doers, with all the doers, with everyone across. Okay, well, you all want to do that in the U.S. of hypocrisy, but how do we check with Africa? Who can we get to come in and let's just make sure we're all understanding that must unite as one species, or else there's no chance that global warming won't self-extinct us. If every nation gets to do whatever they want, how are we going to fix this? There has to be a global constitution. We have to have a global humanist definition, and we need to all work together. Recycling is not going to solve it. There has to be absolute stoppage of allowing companies to just do whatever the hell they want. We need to put in the corporate charter, and this is, again, a good idea. Because you got your billionaires, and you got, your Gates and your Buffett, this billionaire challenge, pledge to give all your money away. Nothing is an individual problem, although every individual has to understand the problem and do what they can. Nothing is solved by individuals when there's 7.8 billion of us. What they have to do is pledge to put into their corporate charters, first, do no harm to any molecule of life. We need to start revoking business licenses if companies, let's pick Monsanto and make a scapegoat out of them, they need to be stopped. Seeds belong to not just all humanity, all life on Earth. Nobody owns seeds. And then to be taking that and then making these chemicals that are poisoning us. And then, farmers have committed suicide. How can we let this company keep operating? What are we doing as adults in America? This is, again, I get up into trance. And I go subconscious. It's artistic flow. So back to the point of this message. I do the work, right? I'm just not my own promoter. Nobody who is a global talent is their own promoter at the beginning. They have to have people helping them. They have to have people recognizing it and seeing it. And that's what I really need help, is just getting people to keep remembering to share my work or to go check in on what I'm doing, to, challenge me. Okay, Deb, enough with all this putting you in here. What could you do to solve X? We'll pay you $1,000 if you do a monologue. I'm ready to create ebooks. As again, I think there's like a $500 level. Pay me and I'll talk about losing 150 pounds. I'll write that up. I'll write up I think we want global unity this decade. Takes one thing: cannabis. Get everybody's endocannabinoid system optimized, and we will all be more collaborative. We'll all be optimized. I'm telling you, there is just so much stress and overwhelm and toxicity in this society that it's literally the state of the world is just everyone's nervous system is. If we can fix that, we have a shot. And we can reverse global warming. We just need to understand it correctly. You need to understand that carbon belongs in the soil, in the ground, the carbon cycle, not in the air. And we just start putting that carbon back, stop taking the carbon out. Whether that's diamonds or oil and gas, It is that simple to understand the soil cycle. It's a great book, Cal Save the Globe. It explains it all. I tend to have these relatively unknown, completely. You want to fix human health for the posture level. Got a great book for that. You want to understand complexity thinking? Go get Anti-Fragile. You want to breathing, the Oxygen Advantage. Got to get breathing correct. Asthma, completely solvable, completely preventable. Asthma is mouth breathing. You see, it's creating this art form where I get to go, like, you will be astounded at what she brings in, and then I need a video editor who can, get rid of some of like that again, I'm having a conversation with you. If we were just take out the, I'd be happy to keep your name in, but if you wanted your name taken out, right, and just smush this a little bit, and then hashtag, well, she talks about Cal Say the Planet, she talks about, what have I talked about? I don't know. Not in the point of my brain. My brain frees up paying attention to what I'm talking about because it knows I'm recording. And that bus segues to harmony.